Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this Monday afternoon mountain weather update to radar first. And here is our plume of snow, our next storm system, moving that snow all the way through Idaho as expected, and really now going to target the Tetons. Heavy snow tonight, heavy snow tomorrow morning. Tomorrow likely a powder day for a lot of the Tetons. It'll snow through Yellowstone, snow up into parts of Montana. Now, on the southern end of this, the question is how close does this get to the Wasatch Front of Utah? I certainly think we're going to see snow in extreme northern Utah, but does it actually develop far enough south that we get accumulation? And if it happens, it'd be tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning across the Wasatch. I'll drill down into Alta here in a second with the forecast. Snow exiting the Sierra, snowed earlier over Tahoe, but now that's all exiting. Let me take you into Salt Lake and look how close it is. You can see the plume just being directed up towards the Tetons. So we'll see how far south that goes. Here's the radar out of Wyoming, and here comes that heavy snow potential for tonight into tomorrow morning. Okay, let me give you the lay of the land on water vapor. So oranges and reds are drier air aloft. The whites and the blues are going to be your moisture. And here's our storm system, and here's the boundary of moisture that is pushing in. Now, the storm track over the next 7, 8, 9 days is largely going to follow this storm system. So, if I were to draw a rough line right here, all the heavy snow is going to be north of this line. So, that largely leaves out Utah and Colorado. I still think we're going to see some light accumulations in both places, but it's possible there's a storm on 1225 that may change this, but between now and then, that's where most of the action is going to stay. There is another storm behind it. There's another one behind that, and all of these are going to go into a similar place and a similar track. Okay, let me show you my latest snow timeline. Best odds of snow: Wasatch, Tetons, Colorado, Tahoe, interior BC, and the Northeast. So, for example, I mentioned the Tetons a couple of times. Heavy snow accumulation tonight into tomorrow morning. Light on 22, 23, and then light on 25. Colorado, light on 12, 17, and a lot of that's because of a dirty northwest flow that's going to drop down into the northern mountains. And potentially, it may turn dirty across I-70 with that flow, but a lot of it's going to be north of there. Light snow accumulation on 1223, light 1225. So you can see we're dealing with a storm potential on 1225 on Christmas Day for a few of these places. And maybe it breaks the mold and it goes a little bit further to the south and does affect Colorado and Utah. So the Wasatch, light tomorrow morning, light accumulations, and then moderate to heavy 1225 if that storm verifies. Interior BC still looking very good. Heavy snow potential coming in tomorrow afternoon into the 18th. Okay, here's the forecast mediagram for Alta ski area at about 9,000 feet. So here in this column, that's tonight. There's the 17th tomorrow. There's the 18th. There's the 19th. So you can see this particular model does crank out about 1 to 2 inches of accumulation early tomorrow morning across Alta, Snowbird, Solitude, and Brighton. So that's a possibility. And look at the wind gusts: 30, 35, 40 miles per hour out of the west, northwest. So that would be favorable. And the temperature profile tomorrow starts at about 24 in the morning and falls into the teens in the afternoon. So a little bit of snow possible up there for tomorrow in the morning. Okay, let me show you the latest forecast radar and satellite. There's our shield of snow. Here's where it goes. Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., a little bit of snow in that southern periphery, potentially brushing the Wasatch, and some of it dropping down with that dirty northwest flow into the northern mountains of Colorado, potentially down towards I-70. We'll see if it makes it, but the heaviest target's going to be the Tetons and parts of Idaho. Okay, by Tuesday afternoon, still some leftover snow, central to northern mountains of Colorado. Look at the push with the next storm system up in the Pacific Northwest and BC. That's the heavy snow potential, not only for Whistler, Blackcomb, Baker, Rainier, Crystal, but and it's going to intensify over the top of Revelstoke and Kicking Horse, for example, right there. And there's going to be decent overrun all the way down into Sunshine and Marmot Basin with this storm system. Here is Wednesday afternoon. There's Thursday, a little bit of high pressure ridging across the lower 48. So everything gets routed up into Canada here before these two storms. There's a little one right there on 21, goes north. There's a little bit bigger one right here on 23. That sends some snow through the interior. Here's the one, though, that could go a little further to the south and change things up. This is 1224, so Christmas Eve, it hits the west coast. And then watch what this storm system does. It moves into the interior. There's 12:25 in the morning, and then snow right there. Let me take you back if I can. Moves into parts of Utah right there at the very end of it. It would happen in the afternoon of 12:25. So in the afternoon, it would likely move into the Wasatch, the Tetons, and potentially even Colorado on 12:25 in the mountains. Here are my latest numbers. So the rest of today through tomorrow, 6 to 10 for the Tetons. So again, tomorrow's the powder day up there. Potentially 1 to 3 across I-70 north in Colorado, maybe a 4 or 5 inch amount up around Cameron Pass, Mount Zirkle, Buffalo Pass. Mount Werner could see 3, 4, 5 inches. Um, and then you got to look up to the Pacific Northwest where we could see 8 to 12 and some snow accumulation through Idaho and northwest Montana. Here's the bigger period. This accounts for at least 2 storm systems. 1218 through 1225, 8 to 12 for the Sierra, or just slightly above that. About 6 for the Wasatch in Colorado, 1 to 4. Another 5 to 8 inches for the Tetons. So between period 1, let's just say 9 here for Jackson Hole period 1, 5 for period 2, so over a foot grand total. Look at parts of interior BC, 20 potentially during this time frame for parts of Revelstoke, looking at about a foot there through Kicking Horse, 7 to 8 elsewhere, including a lot of Banff sunshine up towards Marmot Basin, and 1 to 2 feet for the Pacific Northwest and a lot of the coastal range of BC. So a great period of time right here. In the Northeast, not much has changed. So my timeline, you've got a little bit of rain, snow tomorrow, light accumulation 18, 19, light 1220, and light to moderate 1225. And this is where we end up. My grand totals of basically 4 to 8 inches, we'll call it, through Vermont, New York, New Hampshire, and Maine. It looked like there was going to be this great storm, yesterday, the day before when I was forecasting for around 1220 and 1221. That's just no longer the case. It's just not showing up anymore. So the track changed, and now we're just dealing with these numbers. All right, guys, we'll end on the western map here. Again, couple of storm systems through Christmas. We could be looking at some very good totals here. Keep your fingers crossed. Appreciate you guys tuning in here. Take care and have a great night.